think that's the biggest bit of advice. Just do it. Just give it a go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Believe in yourself.
Yeah,
100%
definitely.
agree.
And the opportunities will come.
Maybe I should try it. Welcome to the Mining Mum podcast, where we celebrate individuals who have created careers in the mining industry. I'm Tegan, your host, and each episode will delve into inspiring stories from mining professionals. Whether you're a seasoned mining veteran, a newcomer, or simply interested in the world of mining, you're in the right place to get the tea. Today we're diving into a topic close to my heart, balancing motherhood and a mining career. Joining me today is my friends Bronnie and Amanda, who are also fellow mining mums and worked in the industry for nearly 10 years. They have both worked in regional sites, on mine sites, worked in FIFO, and now live in Perth and work for one of the biggest mining companies global. So thank you so much for coming to join me today. Usually we'd probably be doing this over a glass of wine, but so I guess let's just launch straight into an overview of each other's careers and how you initially got into the mining industry.
We originally moved to Port Hedland when my family were quite young, and after a few years of living there, an opportunity came up with one of the big mining companies for diverse candidates to be hired through a workshop that they'd built, which gave an opportunity for people without experience to be hired. So I applied, got an interview, and then was successful. And I think, as they say, like the rest is history from there.
And then after that role, what else did you move into?
So I started off as a prod tech. So I started actually doing maintenance on all cars, which I always have a bit of a smile at when I think back about that. From there, went into a team leader role, then into a supervisor role, and then did a CI lead improvement role, then into a coordinator role, and now in a superintendent role. So over
awesome.
nearly 10 years and have progressed all the way through.
Cool. And Amanda, what about yourself? What's your career overview in the mining industry?
Thanks for having me, Teags. Okay, so I guess where do I start? I moved, my husband and I moved over to Port Hedland back in 2011. He was working for a mining company then, and that's what brought us from East Coast over to West Coast. So we had an 8-month-old, so moved over to Port Hedland, something very brand new. So I moved over as a stay-at-home mum, which was a wonderful opportunity, I guess, for me to be able to stay at home. Had another baby, moved into some different careers in Port Hedland. Was tossing around with the idea of getting into mining and, that opportunity living residentially in a mining town. So I was lucky enough to be given the opportunity to come on as a contractor in the shutdown space with one of the mining companies up there. It was just a couple of days a week, which worked perfectly for me because I had young children still. Then progressed, I guess, started off with that. I was contractor for about 12 months, on and off in 2 days a week, and then I moved into a school hours role, which was perfect again for me and the children, and my husband, I should say, and then managed to secure a permanent role with the company, which was fantastic, and moved through a couple of different administration-based roles. Into a PA role, had an opportunity to dig my heels into a couple of weeks of an executive assistant role, and then branched out into a specialist role, which is where I'm sitting at the moment. So.
And Bronnie, before you went into that entry-level role, what were you doing previously, and what have you found some transferable skills have been moving into the industry?
I think the transferable is, for me, was always something that has been a strength is the leadership side for me. My qualifications was in teaching, and then also I'd run my own business, and since living up in Hedland, I'd also managed the Running Stadium, which is out in South Hedland. And I think opportunity from there, or what you could transfer, was the fact that you can go in and lead and teach. And I think in having that growth mindset and the underlying belief that you can try anything and give it a go. And I think if I reflect on that, that was why I went, yeah, I can do that. I can give that a go. And I think that's so important, is to go, believe in yourself and trust your instincts to be able to be good at something.
Amanda, you obviously moved through the administration space and then into an improvement role, and then started FIFO. So that's quite a hot topic at the moment, the FIFO lifestyle, and juggling that with motherhood. How did you find the transition of, going into a FIFO role, flying to another site, and then still managing your mother responsibilities and also wife responsibilities?
When I was given the opportunity to remotely do a role from Port Hedland, because the role was actually based in Perth, but also going to the site. However, obviously based in Port Hedland, we weren't ready to leave there. Given the opportunity to do a remote role and go to another site, wasn't kind of set up typically as your typical FIFO 1 week on, week off. There was an arrangement where every month I would travel to the site or two of the sites, and for a week away. So originally when it popped up, I was like, oh goodness, how am I going to do this? I'd sort of leave Hedland on a Sunday, transfer through Perth, and then back the following weekend. First time round, obviously it was very... I was nervous because I was doing the job remotely at that point, so going to meet all brand new people, and that's, I guess, probably listening to me talk doesn't really seem like a big thing, but it was. First time around, I made sure everything was very, very organised for everybody. Yeah. As you know, the whole week sort of planned out, but food in the freezer. 100%. Made sure there was on the fridge what we were doing, or who was where every day. Once the first week was over and done with, it felt like a bit of a breeze. My husband handled it really well. The kids handled it really well. Technology is obviously brilliant these days. The kids they were able to contact me when they wanted to. But overall, it was a really, really good experience. And if you got the opportunity to do it, I would definitely have a go at it. It opened my eyes to another level of life and work, I guess. And it was just a really good opportunity. And to be honest, I got a little bit of a break while I was away. I didn't want to say that, but a little bit did. Because it is you're on when you're there. It is work, because you're on site very early and you're off site very late as well, and there's not a lot of time between then and going to bed and getting up again. That I imagine, I only did it for 8 months, so it would be as a concert, and it'd be a little bit different for week on, week off. Yeah. But that was just one scenario that I found very, very rewarding and a really great growth opportunity for me.
Amazing. And Bronnie, this is your last week of FIFO. So you have 2 sons at home, and you've been juggling the FIFO lifestyle. So how have you found it?
To reflect a little bit what Amanda said too, I think of over my time within the roles I've done. I did shift work when we lived in Hedland also. So I did shift work.
Work?
So I suppose explain that. Yeah. So you work say a roster that is where is 24/7. You hand over with another team. So you will do a panel of days. And then you'll have, for example, I had 4 days on, and then I did 4 days off, and then I went on to 4 nights, and then 4 off. So
12 hours?
Yes. 12-hour days. My boys were only little then, so that was a real juggle. So, but an awesome experience as well, because working at night, I always used to say, and we all used to say, we loved working nights. We just, when it came to coming off nights, was the trick. Yeah. But being out in the Pilbara in the night skies is pretty awesome. So that experience was great for me. then from there went into like a Monday to Friday role when we were based in Headland. And then as I transitioned to Perth, did again the Monday to Friday role. So then having the FIFO experience and being able to fully shift between the juggle of work and mum life and actually just get on a plane and go to work was a pretty cool experience for me. Only because, and look, and in saying that, I had a husband at home that was awesome and the support there, and the boys are a bit older, like you said, so I could do that, and the timing for me was probably the right time.
Yeah.
But 100%, I used to like the idea. We have a joke about it, but I say, do yourself a favour, maybe mums, get out there and do it if you can. But I think the reality is I had the support, so it worked. And when you look at it, I flew out early on a Monday morning, and I flew back in on a Thursday night, and one day from home, and then the following week I had the day off, so I could really jump into my work while I was there and not do the double hats. So you talk about the juggle and talk about mum and work. I could just be fully that. And that experience was really awesome as well. Always in the back of your mind though is lucky for us, our company is extremely supportive, and to know that if my family needed me and if something did happen, the support would be there to drop my work and go home to them if I ever needed. And I think at the end of the day, or what carries you through, is knowing that you've got that support is huge.
Maybe I should try it.
Look, I recommend it.
Let's talk about career progression. So, Amanda, obviously you were talking about going into an admin role, stepping up to an executive assistant, and then now being in a specialist role. When did you know it was time to make that move? And did you have any mentors or anybody that you leaned on to help prep you for that next stage in your career?
My kind of turning point was I was in admin for quite some time, and I had an opportunity. I was in a PA role with a wonderful leader for about 18 months. I was given an opportunity just to act while the executive assistant was away for about 3 or 4 weeks, and it was in that particular time that I did that role that I kind of went, I can do this, and I've got a lot more that I can give. I didn't know what that was at that point, but like after doing that role, then coming back to my PA role, I was like, I've got so much more that I can offer to the business. Like I knew in myself that I could. I'd kind of I guess just got that little bit more confidence in myself. So I then went on to speak with my current leader about going into the WIMWA mentoring program, and went through the business, and it got approved, which was wonderful, and it was a really great experience. So it was a 12-month program, so and you're with a little cohort of people where...
I was in it.
That's we were the same year. Yes, that's right.
No, highly recommend it. It's definitely an amazing experience.
Yeah, definitely. I guess just that experience, I was matched with an external mentor. I met with her every time I came down over the 12-month period. She really, really helped me with because I was probably at the start of my career after coming back after children. So she really stepped me through and helped me, I guess, grow through what my strengths were and what I really needed to focus on. And what I struggled with was nutting down those strengths and actually believing that that's what was good for me. So it was a wonderful experience. I mean, that was obviously formal mentoring that I did, but over the period of being in the mining industry, I've had some wonderful leaders and peers that I've really drawn a lot of expertise from and taken a lot from. And I guess being in that PA administration, obviously done a lot of dealings with, the levels up as well as my peers. So learning things from them on what's good, what's good to take on, what better could I do. I just think in general, just even like us sitting at this table, I consider you guys as mentors for me. So, I've just been blessed with some really great people around me, which has paid off. So
amazing. So great.
Yeah.
And Bronnie, yourself, you've had career progression over your time, going from a prod tech to coordinator, specialist, now superintendent. As a female leader in a predominantly male industry of mining, what lessons have you taken over your career?
To really trust your capability. And I think also for me, and further what Amanda said, is I've had some awesome people around me, and I think you get out what you are, and what you give, you get back, and that's reflection for you, because you've always showed up, and that's how you present, and I believe you get that back again. But there's been some really cool people around in different roles that have been a guiding light, or you've been inspired by them to continue to be better. But I think don't think of yourself as being a female. Think about what you can actually bring and what you can provide for the business, and continue to believe that, and seek great relationships, working relationships, because they then build the foundation for you to continue to grow and continue to thrive. Yep.
So outside of career progression, what growth do you feel like you've enabled yourself through working in mining, or enabled your family in terms of financially or personal growth? How do you think working in the mining industry has helped you guys grow?
For me, like coming from East Coast, smallish town, but moving
Queenslander?
to... Yes, Queenslander. Don't know whether I really want to say that out loud. Not this week, maybe. It's East Coast. But yeah, I guess, uprooting ourselves from Queensland and coming over to the East Coast with an 8-month-old baby, moving into a mining town, essentially. My husband was successful in getting a role. So I think just even that for us as a family was a growth period. Like I wasn't in the mining industry then, but I think that's what really opened my eyes to what is actually out there, what benefits, like even though we were living remotely in a small town, just the benefits that I have, us as a family, myself, my husband, reaped out of that has been, I don't know, and I think I've probably more so recognised it moving to Perth now, when I reflect on it, how important that whole process was for us and our growth. I don't know. I feel like I don't know whether I've really answered your question, but Bronnie might be able to add more there.
Yeah, you really have. Like, I think if you think about opportunity and it goes both ways, right? You give, but what you get back has been huge. And I think the same, right? I came from I'm from WA, but little country farming community, and I didn't know anything about mining, and we moved up there for my husband's work, and then you started to see opportunity, and look, and I'll be forever grateful for what the business has given back to me, but then I also reflect on what I've given to the business as well. So it goes both ways. But I think what I've shown my kids is that if you work hard and you be a good human, good things come. Yeah,
definitely.
I believe that.
One thing to reflect on, or just to kind of nut out a little bit more, is Port Hedland. So I think a lot of people always ask me, what is that place actually like?
Yeah.
Like, moving to a small town does sound very daunting. And, I think I don't even know how many people live there, like 20,000 maybe.
Used to be. I think it's less now, too. So I think it's about 12 now, hey? I'm not sure.
It's a small town, but it's like where all the big mining giants live, right? Like it's the biggest export port in the world.
Yeah.
It's got the likes of BHP, FMG, Rio, Roy Hill. So, you know, it's the world of opportunity, as you said earlier. But in terms of a family, raising a family, and, you know, being a bit of a shopaholic, how I should actually be looking at Bronnie when I said that, a little bit about, love. I mean,
look, I think we moved there in 2012, and if you'd said to me then, Teags, like if someone had said you're gonna live in this town for 9 years, I would have just been like, absolutely not, right? But the community and the people, and I'm sitting across from two of them, but they're the people. They become your family. So before you know it, you're involved in a community that's so great, and the people around you are so great, and you just don't want to leave. And another year rolls around, and you don't want to leave. And I look back of our years there, and I can't love them anymore. And the people that we've met, they're never going to leave your life. And I'm so grateful for that.
The simple life as such, like it's a lot slower pace.
Yes.
And you build your community. So as much as it's daunting, I remember even when I first moved there, when I was like 22 and single, I was having anxiety attacks before moving there, and I had nothing to lose. But, you know, it is about making the jump and then building your community there as well.
And I think you put it really well, Teags, like you said earlier about moving to Port Hedland and all the great things, like, you know, it's got biggest port, it's got all the mining companies. Like, you don't really think about that when you're moving there, but when you're in it and you're living it and you're part of it, and then you come away from it and you're like, I was part of that. I lived there.
Sure.
And that's a pretty cool thing. Like, even talking to the kids, like, that's pretty cool that you can say that you've got South Headland on your on your birth certificate. So take that. You know what I mean? Like, and when you say things like that, you kind of just go, wow, really? Like, that's huge. You were a part of that, and it's pretty cool.
I think on to add to that is your kid, the boy. Like, my boys are 13 and 15 now, and they talk about that place like it's and if we would let them, they'd get on a plane and go back there.
And before we left, Ollie was like, "Can we come back here for holidays?" And I was like,
"Probably not.
Let's talk about that."
That's the thing, like that. And they're proud to say that.
Yeah, 100%.
That's where they grew up.
Oh, that's awesome. I hope my girls feel like that too. Me too. Before we wrap up, what is one piece of advice from both of you ladies that you want to leave to our listeners that might be thinking about starting their career in mining or, you know, progressing up the ladder? What's your one piece of advice?
We both agree.
We were like, should we just say
No, just do it right. Just give it a go. Like, trust the fact that you can do it. And I think if you've got a growth mindset, and you're willing to go in and go, I mightn't know anything about this, but I'm going to learn. And I'm going to make those connections to learn. I think that's the biggest bit of advice. Just do it. Just give it a go.
Believe in yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
Agree.
And the opportunities will come.
A huge thank you to my guests today, Bronnie and Amanda. Thank you so much for joining me, and stay tuned for more empowering stories from mining professionals.